Hey, Sarah. Do you know how challenging it is to raise a child these days? Are you aware that it requires a great deal of effort, time, and resources? Perhaps you cannot fully comprehend the difficulties involved since you have not yet experienced parenthood yourself.
While I haven't had the first-hand experience of raising a child, I'm aware that it is a demanding and challenging task. It entails a multitude of responsibilities, such as providing care, guidance, and support. Raising a child involves dedicating a significant amount of time and energy, as well as being attentive to their physical, emotional, and educational needs. It also requires making sacrifices and adapting one's lifestyle to accommodate the child's well-being. Parenting is a lifelong commitment that necessitates constant learning, patience, and love. I think I recognize that raising a child is an intricate and demanding journey that demands unwavering dedication.
While that may be true, I was specifically asking if you're aware of how much it costs to raise a child.
Well, I don't know about that.
It's not even funny when it comes to raising a child, from their food to clothing. And when you add in the cost of private tutoring, it becomes quite substantial. Raising a child is all about money. You can't even have a baby if you don't make enough money. It's completely different from decades ago when people perceived children grow up on their own.
Private tutoring? Danielle is barely in kindergarten, but you already hired a private tutor for her?
I meant private tutoring will be part of the expense when she becomes first grade next year. And just because she's in kindergarten, it doesn't mean there are no expenses for private tutoring. Simply giving her extracurricular activity lessons like piano, art, martial arts, or foreign languages can easily exceed $1,000 per month. Just like in my household, if the father is the sole breadwinner supporting a family of 3, covering living expenses, including food, utilities, and even the cost of private tutoring, you could say we're incurring losses every month.
I see. That must be hard.
Speaking of which, can you help us financially by any chance? Although Danielle is not your niece by blood, she's your husband's niece, which means she's technically your niece as well. You can help your niece by supporting her with $10,000, right?
That's a lot of money.
Isn't $10,000 considered a small amount of money in today's world? You've had a job for 10 years and don't have any children, so it's likely that you have saved a significant amount. Instead of letting it sit in a bank and lose value, it would be really useful for me if you could give it to me. Is there any way that could be possible?
Just because I have been working for 10 years, it doesn't mean I have all the money in the world. I need to prepare for my retirement and keep it to raise my children when I have them later. You just said yourself that it costs a fortune to raise a child. I'm considering having children in the near future, and I have to be prepared for them to take care of them properly, from feeding them to educating them. I'm sorry, I don't have spare money to give you.
Is it true that you're just turning it down without even pretending to consider it when I'm your husband's older sister and I'm sincerely asking for your help? You're such a cold woman, aren't you? What is the benefit of having a sibling? Aren't siblings supposed to help each other when they're going through a rough patch?
I don't know anything about that. I'm sorry.
This is exactly why people say there should be siblings. I notice that the only child is usually selfish and difficult to get along with. I'm sure you don't understand what it feels like when your sibling is having a hard time as an only child. It hurts like hell when your sibling encounters hardships, and you want to give up everything to help them. It might not hurt you, but it should hurt my brother because that's what siblings are like. Okay, fine. I can't help it if you're saying you don't have spare money to give me. I understand. However, while you may not have enough money, your parents do, don't they? I heard your parents ran a business all their life, and you were raised in a wealthy family. Is that true?
I guess I can say that. Thanks to my parents, I don't recall going through financial hardships, if not enough money.
Then you can take some of their money and give it to me for Danielle, right?
What do you mean by that?
Your mother passed away half a year ago, and once your father also passes away, you will be the sole beneficiary of their assets. I'm saying it shouldn't be a problem for you to receive and use the inheritance in advance.
Are you asking me to beg my dad for money and give it to you when I receive it?
You don't want to do it?
Of course not. Did you really think asking me like that would work? Don't you think you're attempting too much and asking for the moon? If you need the money so badly, you should get part-time jobs at restaurants, grocery stores, or wherever. How could you even think my parents' assets will be given up to you, which they accumulated all their lives with their sacrifices and devotion? You have the guts to ask for my parents' money, don't you? I would never be able to bring up such a thing if I were you, because I would be so humiliated and ashamed even by thinking about it.
Are you okay today? Are you sure you're not food poisoned or anything? I don't know what to do when you become someone I don't recognize all of a sudden.
Why is that? Are you confused that I stand up for myself for the first time after all these years of being nice and quiet to you? Do you think I had no idea you were taking my bags and clothes one by one? Even my shoes! Every time you came to my house? I tried so hard to understand and think positively. I tried to convince myself that you were in your worst moments and you had no other choice but to lay your hands on your brother and his wife's stuff. I have shown kindness to and to help strangers, so I was willing to let go of it and have refrained from showing any discontent toward you since you're my husband's sister. I thought that by continuing to extend my generosity, you would understand it as a gesture of goodwill. However, I guess it's true that if kindness continues, you perceive it as an entitlement. Did you think I was a joke? Did you think I didn't say anything to you because I had no idea what was going on?
What the hell did you say? Are you saying you knew about it all along, but you kept it to yourself all this time?
Don't you think it's even more strange if I didn't notice what was going on when my stuff was missing every time you came to my house?
Well, you didn't say anything to me, so I believe you didn't know. You know you have millions of clothes and bags, right? All of them in luxury brands like Louis Vuitton and even Hermes. I thought that a woman who grew up in a wealthy family wouldn't notice if she lost a few things because she has countless articles. I'm quite surprised that you actually noticed. But the thing is, are you saying that even though you knew all this, you've been meeting me with a smile on your face and not showing any indication of it? You're so creepy, aren't you? I'm so freaked out by you that you give me chills. I feel like I've been walking the street naked. I'm so embarrassed and mad and feel a rush of rage. Do you have a damn idea how I feel right now? You're that woman who says one thing but does the other. What a hypocrite.
You must be delighted that your words and actions match, aren't you?
Excuse you?
I'm saying you still don't understand what you should do right at the moment. If your stealing had been busted, the appropriate response for you should be sincerely apologizing and taking responsibility for your actions. Instead, you are coming across defiantly. So I'm here teaching you what you should do. What you committed is a theft, and you'll be asked to take responsibility if I report it to the police. If I were merciful enough and had let go of your actions, considering that I have been lucky enough to possess many things, you would be in a position where you should be thankful and apologize humbly for stealing my belongings. Don't you understand what kind of position you are in? I knew you were a thief, but I didn't know you were so dumb that you don't even understand English.
How could you be so mean to me? I'm your husband's older sister, remember? Hey, how's your IVF going? Did you say you need to keep the money for your children that might happen in the near future? Do you think God will gift you with children if you have such an attitude to your sister-in-law? Do you think you can live comfortably as my family's daughter-in-law despite your despicable attitude toward me? Don't you get that I have the final say in everything as the eldest daughter in my family?
I had the final say in everything as the only child in my family, too. Believe it or not, I don't argue with others often. But when I did, I've never lost against anyone in my life. I respected you and let go of your unbelievable actions only because you're my husband's older sister. However, now you're trying to get on top of my head and manipulate me, and I won't take it anymore. Who do you think you're trying to take for granted?
You have no idea what you're doing right now, do you?
Oh, I do. I'm furious that you're even thinking about taking my parents' hard-earned money.
You're furious just for that? You'll try to eat me alive if you know I took your late mother's ring and sold it, won't you?
I beg your pardon?
I thought it was very meaningful and precious to you, but you didn't even notice it was gone. You know, we had a gathering at your house last week for my mom's birthday, right? I secretly took the ring since I was there. Indeed, it seems that people who have a lot tend not to notice or pay attention if one or two things go missing. The ring was wrapped tightly in layers and kept along with your mother's picture and other pieces of jewelry that seemed to belong to her. You must be excited that you were born as the only child of your rich mother and received a bunch of expensive goods as an inheritance. Considering I only took one inconspicuous and seemingly insignificant ring among all those possessions, wouldn't you say that I'm still quite nice and conscientious?
Excuse you? That ring you stole is a special ring that was passed from my grandmother to my mom when she married my dad. It was a family heirloom. That's such a precious piece of jewelry regardless of the price. And you claim you took it without my permission? You need to give it back to me right now.
Oh, that's impossible. I already sold it and it doesn't belong to me anymore. I was fortunate enough to sell the seemingly shabby ring at a high price. By selling it, I made a substantial sum of $5,000, which I spent pretty quickly. Thank you, Sarah.
It's not the right time to say thank you, Sarah. You need to get the ring back right now. Otherwise, I'm going to report it to the police for theft. I mean it when I say this, so you better listen to what I'm saying. Besides, you sound like you had to steal my mom's ring because your mother was poor and had nothing to give you. Your mother must be thrilled to hear you using such absurd things as an excuse for stealing.
What did you say? You're so rude as always. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not scared even a little bit. You thought I would get on my knees and apologize profusely while asking for your forgiveness if you threatened me like that. But there's no way. Don't make me laugh, okay? You should stop here if you're not going to divorce my little brother. We don't want to be uncomfortable when we're still a family, right? I promise you I'm not going to lay my hands on your stuff ever again, so end of discussion. Done.
You make me speechless. Who are you to say end of discussion when I'm the owner of the ring, and I'm demanding you to bring it back to me immediately? I cannot make any concessions regarding my mom's ring, so make sure to return the ring immediately.
I said I already sold the ring and I spent every penny of the sales proceeds. It's just that simple, so do whatever you need to do.
So you're just going to be like, sue me?
I won't have anything to give you even if you sue me. Do whatever you need to do.
Okay then. Since you keep saying do whatever I need to do, I'll do whatever I need to do.
What the heck can you possibly do? Sarah, did you tell everything to my mom? Did you tell her that I stole your late mother's ring and got rid of it for money? Why did you have to do that when you know better than anyone that she will never accept theft as she has been an educator all her life?
I thought you told me multiple times to do whatever I needed to do. I needed your mother to realize what her daughter had done. So I told her because that was what you told me to do. So what's the problem when I only followed your instruction? Oh, did you actually want to be reported for theft? I could certainly do that for you if you prefer that way.
Do you think it's funny? What kind of theft are you talking about when we're a family?
What do you mean by a family when we don't live in the same house or make a living together? If I were to press charges, you would be in a position where you would be held accountable without any escape. I only gave up on pressing charges out of consideration for Danielle, who is still a baby who needs her mother by her side. But instead of gratitude, what's this attitude?
You gave up on pressing charges because you couldn't press charges against a family member, not because of your generosity. Who do you think you're kidding? Besides, my mom gave the ring back to you. Then what's the matter with you? What, do you want more after she bought the same ring and handed it to you? It was such an old ring, and I heard she had to travel across the states to get the same one. Isn't that enough for you when such an old lady did that for you? You even told her that I was jealous of you having a wealthy mom and you had a lot to inherit. She said she failed to teach me properly, even as an educator, and declared that she'll disown me from this point on. She said she can't be that mother I want, so she'll let me go. She told me to live on my own and to make sure to pay her back $5,000. How am I supposed to pay her back that much money when I have a child to take care of? I have a college degree, but I barely graduated with a borderline GPA, and I don't have any work experience at all. All I have been doing so far was to support my husband and raise my daughter, which is far from making money. Most importantly, you know all of this, and you still rat on me and cause such pain for me?
Well, you should learn how to stand up on your own feet before it's too late. You'll have to live on your own going forward, which means you have to make money by yourself.
What kind of nonsense are you talking about? Why are you saying I need to make money by myself?
Okay, listen. The entire family, your mother, my husband, and even your husband, went to the jewelry shop where you sold my ring. We asked the owner to see the camera footage explaining to him what was going on, and he let us see it. Well, you were there selling my mom's ring, but surprisingly, you weren't alone. You were holding some guy's hand who was clearly not your husband. Everything was recorded on the camera, from you holding his hand and even kissing him, stepping out of the shop with your hand in his back pocket with a big smile on your face. It was seriously pathetic and ridiculous. All of us were embarrassed for you. I never expected to discover such a dirty secret of yours when I simply wanted to check if I can get my ring back.
What?
You turned around and cheated on your hard-working, devoted husband with some other guy after dropping off your daughter at school. How vulgar and coarse everything you do is. Don't you feel sorry for your husband who is working day and night for you and your daughter? Isn't it shameful for your daughter who considers her mother to be everything in the world? I heard the one you're having an affair with is the father of a boy in Danielle's classroom. How could you even think about having a relationship with one of the parents?
No, I didn't have any kind of relationship. He's just someone I know. I swear I never cheated on my husband or committed adultery.
For that part, your husband must have done an extensive investigation and formed a conclusion by now.
That can't be possible. He has never shown any indication of feeling suspicious. He is someone who easily displays his emotions, so if something like that were to happen, it would be written all over his face.
Unlike someone, parents are willing to do anything and everything for the sake of their children. No matter how weak his disposition may be, he would make all necessary preparations to avoid having his parental rights taken away before dumping you.
What did you say? Who does he think he is trying to take my baby away from me when I was the one giving birth to her from my womb? That doesn't make sense. No matter how much he tries, Danielle is mine. She can never be his.
What use is there for someone who doesn't even have the qualifications of a mother to imitate motherhood? With no job and even engaging in infidelity, does it seem likely that someone like you would be granted custody?
Hey, which side are you on right now?
Who am I to be on your side when even your own mother and brother said they'll disown you? I am simply your sister-in-law, and I have no intention of listening to your complaints any longer. I have no intention to help you, and even if I did, I wouldn't be able to. After what happened, I heard that Jane eventually became estranged from her own mother and my husband, and that she was divorced by her ex-husband as well. Of course, custody went to the father, and she lost her child. She was forced to work, eat, and sleep in a small restaurant, trying to pay off her debts. She had to work tirelessly to repay her debts to her mother, her ex-husband, and the wife of the guy with whom she had an affair. If she had managed the money wisely provided by her husband and worked hard to raise her child, the outcome would have been completely different. This is the consequence of her own foolish decisions. Thanks for watching! If you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. And why not leave us a comment in the comment section down below with all of your thoughts. See you in the next video!